Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. Erica Lorraine Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C. All right, you got a demon-possessed stalker, license plate 8XXV264, under the fake sun, right over inside of the B&G Plaza. He's got on two tight shorts with a Fox Racing t-shirt on and a cap. He's not cool at all, and he's a demon-possessed stalker, driving a blue Mustang. License 6UEX580, 8XYZ544, 8P12439. And as I observe this group stalker that's sitting in his car stalking in the path, another car alarm sounds. That's the stalking with conduct, and that's the coordinated activity of what are demons that are surrounding, all right, in the environment where that is also clearly the case. It is 8:22 a.m., 5ZIN 285 7YMH 798. That's P.O.C. And this is the state's fake sun, which is over B&G Plaza. As I'm walking what is east inside of the same plaza, and the state's fake sun is no longer over the Shiro's Liquor. It advances west over my head as I move west. And I'll take a picture of that right now. All right, I did take a video of that, what I've already established, but that's just direct evidence. What I captured in Starbucks, yet again, and this is at a point where you're talking about just demonic hostility, that light show, which is, I mean, demonstrating to the entire world. I don't even have to say a word in that video. You're looking at it, and you have this fake sun that's nowhere near Starbucks. That's called stalking with activity as I'm entering Andy's Burgers. It's 8:24 a.m. Hi. Yeah. Oh, hi, Erica. You guys want, is that the free one? Oh, can I buy one? Fine, thank you, though. I'll let you have a top for that. If you don't have a top, then I'm good. Unless you have a top for that small cup. No, okay, I'll buy the cup then. 70 cents, right? Here's 75. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can I get the medium size cup? Thank you. Whoa, what is that sound? Oh, yeah. Is it like a All right, that was documentation of, first of all, directed light inside of that venue. So you're recognizing the state's pattern of conduct, what it does with directed light inside of venues. Particularly with regard to what I'm talking about now is the directed light on the floor. And this is what is inside of Andy's Burgers outside of the entrance. So you're recognizing this is not the sun above Andy's Burgers. That is not sunlight that bounces off of cars, which again, it's not actually bouncing off of cars, but when you're describing what it looks like, the state engages in conduct that is suggesting that sunlight bounces off of cars and then rides next to vehicles, in front of vehicles, behind vehicles as they cross paths. It's the mark of demon possession, and it's what is federal stalking conduct. You've got this light activity, which is not sunlight, and then you also have the concentrated light, that's directed light on the floors inside of Andy's Burgers. And what I also documented, who I'm talking to, was a third-party group stalker that works at Andy's Burgers who was engaging in stalking in the bathroom, and that's what that conversation was about. Directed light on the driver's side of this vehicle as it crosses path, behind the vehicle on the asphalt, license 39384S2, and they're driving under the state's fake sun. It is currently 8:32 a.m. and that is P.O.C. And you want to document, I want to make sure that I specify the fact that I'm documenting Erica, all right? She's inside of the venue working at the Andy's Burgers, all right, as I'm making a purchase. And this is who she identified herself as, and she is present inside of that venue. And this is an ongoing act of harassment, as you are being subject to ongoing monitoring, sexual violence by one who is harassing and making threats. All right, so as I go in there, I just want to make sure I document that, and that is who is present. It is 8:32 a.m., that's P.O.C. All right, that's the state flying over in an airplane, making a U-turn over center ice to be in relevant position to me, in a perfect alignment with where I'm standing on the sidewalk of Hope Boulevard, not proceeding to fly straight in a line over the museum, flying in relevant position, already present, in other words, in commercial-sized airplanes. This is the psychopath stalker, stalking in airplanes, maintaining audible activity as I move,
under the fake sun, where the people of the state, the demons that surround, are monitoring and stalking with that entity. And the state is keeping its perfect alignment with me in a commercial sized airplane as it flies over the center ice skating arena, which is right in alignment with where I'm standing on the sidewalk. Okay, that's called relevant positioning. Andy's Burgers then steps out and they're surveying the bushels while the state is creating that audible activity, and they are patrolling back and forth, looking at the bushels in directed light. That's how demons conduct themselves. Okay, it's 8:34 a.m. And I went on ahead and took a picture so you see what I'm talking about. They come out and they're standing in the path right here in front of me where I stop. We're the same location where the state is flying and making a U-turn to be in alignment with me. That's called relevant positioning of the people, relevant positioning of the state in a plane. And the state's fake sun is right over my head. Okay? That's the demonic system all together. And the fake sun is not over Starbucks at 706 West Holt at 8:35 in the morning, contrary to that which was not sunlight all over the floor, nor sunlight all over the walls, creating their magnified size of shadows, while those sex offenders were listening to me pull my panties down as well while I was in the bathroom at Starbucks. Okay? And that's ongoing. So, and this is the reality of the system. While I'm at a venue and I document, I'm prosecuting the entity. While I go to another venue and I document the same pattern of conduct, I'm prosecuting every other venue that I've already documented. It is speaking to and prosecuting the entirety of it, because you're realizing what it was. Not only am I'm breaking it down for you as I'm documenting it, but then when I go somewhere else and I'm documenting, and you're realizing the context. Oh, so that was, yeah, you get it now, right? Like I said, the more you document, the clearer that picture becomes. HLPTAX. That is an African-American male, a demon-possessed stalker, driving across the path under the state's fake sun in traffic. They're pacing. And that's the context of everything that they're doing. During the event, 8XNR625, demons are pacing, walking on the sidewalk in the directed light. All right? In traffic under the fake sun, demons are pacing in their vehicles. All right? It is all called stalking in the path. The entity is maintaining presence. All right, so these are third-party group stalkers, and let's document them as the state's fake sun keeps it over my head, not over Starbucks, going towards Starbucks as I go towards Starbucks. 0021081 8AGB 443 71963E2. Directed light traipsing behind, a long line of light backwards toward me. 7SRD531 is focused on me. 8GRL124 is focused on me. They're a demon-possessed stalker. It's 8:37 a.m. All right, I did capture on video just so you can see. And you're also looking at what is terrorism as the demon-possessed cross path and directed light streaming in front and behind, just like Omnitrans. It's beside the bus. License 1370396. All right? Demon possession, it does not matter the company. I'm identifying the company because that company is associated with facilitation of acts of terrorism of an American citizen while they want to make a profit and run a business while they're engaging in that criminal, sexually violent, life-threatening conduct. 8MLH049. But demon possession, understand, the one driving that bus, those riding the bus, the same demon possession underway, all right? That is revealing psychopaths that are engaging in violating another. And doing so while you're trying to make a buck. 90538C1, it doesn't get more despicable than that. 8LMR514. And those demon-possessed stalkers of Omnitrans engaged in kidnapping as well. That's how disgusting they are. It is 8:40 a.m. and just like the Ontario Police Department having that which is not sunlight, riding beside on the asphalt next to its car. All right, you're talking about directed light and the outward communication, the outward demonstration of demon possession, which is a terrorizing threat, where you are already suited as a police officer engaging in federal stalking, which is a terrorizing threat. 8MXY146, 8MXY146. And as I already showed you in video after video, every single last one of them that are underneath that, which is not the sun, are also engaging in crossing path and engaging in terrorism as directed light is streaming backwards toward me as they cross path in their vehicles. 7NHF449. All right, I can't really see that one. But you can clearly see the directed light that's streaming backwards toward me. And that is speaking to the obsession. That's what I'm talking about. You see the obsession in the focus. 8DKB798, 7ZRD486, 8SUN476. This is called audible activity in directed light under a fake sun while you're in relevant position. License 8SDN128, 5KZU956, 997WR handicap, 6FPM035, 8NHR945, 8PDL287, 7UHC691, 7RTU448, excuse me. It is 8:42 a.m. States fake sun nowhere possible, as I'm showing you over my head as I'm walking east on Hope Boulevard, and yet at the same time I am at Wells Fargo at 240 North Euclid Avenue, and the state's fake sun is remaining on that same strip of street that is C Street, in between Lemon and Euclid, where I'm capturing the state's fake sun over that Wells Fargo, over the logo stating Wells Fargo, while I'm documenting third-party group stalkers, the demon-possessed that work at Wells Fargo. Excuse me. This demon-possessed stalker license plate 6TJW425. The state's fake sun is nowhere over there at all whatsoever. It is directly over me as I am on Hope Boulevard. All right. Nowhere possible over the Ontario Museum either, as I remain there past this time before undocumented. At the same intersection where I've remained for hours, 7MIU140 documenting the very same entity, these minions, the demon-possessed, 5X50072, BL13C25, 8VHK375, 6CHJ517, 6SDU780, and the state kept its fake sun squarely over my head at this intersection, and that was for hours. I've documented that, right? The state is engaging in keeping its light source over my head as I am the center focus of what are demons that surround. 8NNP132, 8LZE862, 674 USS 14649M2, excuse me. And it is 8:44 a.m. All right. It is currently over my head as I'm at the intersection of Holt and Euclid, walking west on Holt Boulevard, later than I did yesterday. Just demonstrating the impossibility of that ever being the sun as the state engages in conduct as though it's supposed to be the sun and it's not. But the state knows this, and that's why you have what is such a concession, an admission, documented inside of the walls of Starbucks, for example. That is demonic hostility, and that is also just frustration with being literally caught red-handed and showing themselves to be the sex offender. They're not just documenting themselves, they're documenting the whole entity. 7ZNE677 is going to be prosecuted for the totality of that criminal act that has been documented for years now. 6NQV123 is not limited to crossing paths right now at 8:43 a.m. Is going to be prosecuted for the totality of that criminal act that has been underway for years. All right? 6XYX411 54459C3. That's a commercial vehicle. 2020 Plumbing and Heating Inc. License 54459C3. California license 1001965. Okay, license 8GNX935, and directed light across that vehicle as 8CJP824 crosses path. Directed light from this van, the commercial van whose license plate is red. Document some more substantial documentation of what is sexual violence and terrorism as the entity that are the demon-possessed, the people of state, acting with the state as it is molesting with its directed light. All over the walls, the concrete, the asphalt, reaching a distance as they're crossing path. That is the admission of federal stalking, by the way. 35682F2, 7MNH376, 7GEJ311, AAA, 8MUV813, AAA 11912S2. That's the license plate of AAA. 8CKY672. In the same way that what Starbucks did, that's an admission of federal stalking. Like I said, it's as the state engages in it, all you have to do is document it, and I have directly documented it, and you're seeing it with your own eyes. It is an admission. So you're talking about admitting one by one as they are engaging in the pattern of conduct and the blatant acts of demon possession as they are displayed, as you can witness it with your own eyes, while I am documenting what is federal stalking conduct. All right, so the state is stalking with a helicopter, and a group stalker is at the United States Post Office making noise to my left as I'm crossing path. All right, the maintenance of noise, monitoring with SAMNJRY 7YWY664. And again, what you're looking at in the video, this is admission by the entity, and they are not admitting as an individual, they're admitting as an entity, 30157F3. There is no argument there. That is a concession by the entity. But again, it's not as though I needed an admission. I have fully documented it already. You're talking about dealing with the demonic, and that demonic character, that demonic personality, is one where especially it is especially hostile, especially as I reveal its demented conduct, its demented character, and then you see that hostility communicated as the criminal elements are underway, and that is the increase in substantial directed light, molesting all over my body while they're listening to me recite in real time their criminal conduct, and you prosecute for that. But as they reveal it, As you're looking at this conduct, that's an admission by the entirety of the entity. Not just that group stalker whose license plate I'm reading. They're acting as one. That's an admission by the entity. 5VBN 5P 71694, 6RIN 809, 6LXS 610, 7BKV 215, 6M 73296, 6GRJ 440, 77493C1. All of them touching together as they cross path with directed light. That's a paper plate. I can't really see that one. 6LVP218. 8904 9D3. 92757A3. All right, all of them touching, reaching toward the way behind me onto the storefronts, just like I showed you in the video. All of them are touching together with the state with this, which is not sunlight. This is an abnormal and an unnatural and demented and terrorizing environment, and they're touching with their criminal instruments of demented conduct. They're touching with that light, all right? And that's sexual violence while they're stalking. Okay, and also while they're blatantly displaying that is ongoing concessions. And while they're driving west on Holt, the same light activity. Okay, it is license 8NFA137, 7BF8995, I believe. OSTINI 8RMK135, I believe. And they're monitoring at the Holt Boulevard Car Wash. 8KIX232. They're engaging in sexual violence. They're touching. They're monitoring with the state as they're patrolling. CTI ENT 8X89419. They have 2 license plates on that vehicle. 7AWD 094. 6L222386. So Holt Boulevard Car Wash. All right. They are stalking in the path. They are in relevant position while the state is molesting my body with directed light. And Holt Boulevard Car Wash is monitoring on the venue of the internet. They're monitoring with communication devices. And they are also engaging in sexual violence while I'm over here being molested with light. 7LNGO20 by stalkers. And Holt Boulevard is stalking as well. 8TC B852, because you have no place of belonging. You are at a venue where the criminal pattern of conduct is underway. You are stalking in the path in concert with the state. You are stalking in the path in concert with the state while I am being molested with the entity that you are monitoring with. You are a sex offender. License plate 68DC 710, 8CJF 918. 27018M2, 7DSV 423. All right, Holt Boulevard Car Wash is located at, I believe, 322 Holt Boulevard. It's right in between Fern and Palm. All right, documented the state stalking with helicopter, fake sun over that venue, them stalking with light, them being the guise under which the state is creating amplified artificial activity. 8VFW 209, and they are indeed monitoring. It is 8:53 a.m. No sun, no fake sun over, and understand both apply. No sun and no fake sun over Starbucks. 34809 handicap. Because the actual sun is not physically present over that building, let alone Holt Boulevard. Okay? But the state's light source is while I'm there. There is no fake sun over Starbucks. There is no fake sun over Holt Boulevard toward that direction where I already am 24 hours ago. Okay? I'm already there, and you see it blaring through the window, over the building, over my head in the parking lot, over my head as I go to the street. All right, but it's nowhere over there at 8:53 right now. It's right here over my head while I'm across the street from Holt Boulevard Car Wash. They're monitoring. (6RKZ 744). 7EVJ 459, 6CAM 346, 7BAK 003, 9621 5B2, 8VCW 810, 3M00083, 8HIU 894, 8GIG 087, 674 U.S.S. crossing path again, 7753 6E1, all right, was stalking with the state on Transit and Plum, crossing path under the state's fake sun while it was over my head over at that location while the state was flying over in a commercial plane. That act of terrorism by that Latino male, 77536E1, group stalking at the Hope Boulevard car wash, who was creating audible activity, okay, right now. License 8:54 a.m., 23741Y1, 7EWT259, 8EZP333. And 674 U.S.S. just patrolling up and down the street, all right, is a sex offender that likes to touch. He drove past, touching with directed light, drove past again, touching with directed light, drove past again right now, entering inside of third-party facilitating venue, Hope Boulevard car wash, all right? That sex offender likes to touch me a lot. 04390X1. That's audible activity, Hope Boulevard car wash. Yeah, Hope Boulevard car wash. They're all monitoring together. This is located at 322 Hope Boulevard. 8DC 373. I can't really see that one. Substantially similar. 8SLJ 581. (31306X1) 5LHB 724. Alrighty, 8:56 a.m. I'm showing you, I'm taking a picture of what is the fake sun right over my head while Hope Boulevard is in direct alignment with me, and all of them are monitoring on the venue of the internet using communication devices, creating audible activity, relevant positioning, and light activity in the state's directed light under the state's fake sun. License plate 8VSL847, 5XYL839, 8DEF 260, 720WZW, 8TCM 466. 7VW, I can't really see that one. Audible activity while this one crosses path, 8TCM 466. That's concerted conduct, okay? That's how demons act. 7XMISU7. All right, that is the concerted conduct. For example, the group stalker driving past me in a motorcycle, which the state amplifies, while the state flies over me in an airplane. That's the concerted conduct, all right? That is the sex offender who last night stalking in the parking lot of Metro 102 Apartments, license 5ETE900, who molests my body with light as he's stalking in the dark, and as I stand in front of getting another license plate, he molests my body with light while the state amplifies the sound of a loud vehicle. That's concerted conduct. 5 GPA 916, or substantially similar. Entering inside of Hope Boulevard car wash. 8 MQN 389. 8 PWJ 427, 6 TDM 370, 7S87110. It is 8:57 a.m. Audible activity while these minions cross path. 8CDJ 390, 8VHU 766, I believe, 8ESP 517, 8U71921, I believe, 5XNE 014, K6, oh, I can't really see that one, and it looks like two plates, 6ATG 014. So that is the stalking with activity by that facilitating venue, Hope Boulevard car wash. That audible activity was simultaneity to group stalkers crossing path. Those are the criminal elements as they're engaging in it together. The state is providing the directed light. The state is providing the fake sun over me. It's concerted conduct. The demons are of one mind. It's coordinated activity on a ceaseless basis, which is the terrorism. It's 8:59 a.m. BBG 490, 7GY. I can't really see that one. You can scratch that. Look at these. 7SNP 612. 8HNV135, 6MMU324, 6ZOU491. G75035, 5RZG850. Two 3103U1. Let's see. Seven MCX 679. Seven L KW 853 38133 D3 7DYW 481. 8LWL181. All right, and it is 9 o'clock in the morning. All right, I did capture a video just giving another vivid illustration of what is a clear absence of any light source, let alone the sun, over the parking lot, even that area. It's right behind me, over my head, and I am already documented, not only already at these venues hours from now, it's 9. I've been there as early as 7 o'clock in the morning, both Ontario Village and the Starbucks. and the state's light source is not there, contrary to the direct evidence that I have already published of it being right over my head while I remain at that venue at an earlier time. All right, and so this is the blatant stalking. And what I'm also explaining is that it's not just the light source that's over my head. You're also looking at that light activity that coexists with the state's light source. All right, which again, that light activity, the directed light, is not in conformity with the placement of the state's fake sun, 5N PF 911. All right, as I've shown time and time again, the state's fake sun being above a vehicle, for example, is not resulting in light on a ceiling. And the magnified size of shadows projected upright in front of you, that's not sunlight. And this is the conduct having more than one shadow, not just at night, during the day inside of the venues. All right, your shadow moving around you. While you're moving, your shadow moving around. That's called directed light. All right, that is a nomenclature, if you will, that I have assigned to it. But I'm going to be frank, it's demonic. That is demonic activity. All right, but it's not impervious to having a nomenclature and prosecuting it in a court of law. All right, this is Satan that is engaging in the system, acting amongst the people and acting amongst the government. And engaging in this demonic system is terrorism by the government, by the state of California, in concert with the people of the state of California who are in the shoes of the government while they are acting as one demonic entity targeting an American citizen. All right, it is 9:06 a.m. and I want to be clear. What I'm documenting with regard to the state's blatant and clear conduct, for example, what I document inside of Starbucks, what I'm documenting out here on the sidewalk while I'm walking, which is cut clear, irreducible evidence, which I already have, but let me connect the dots for you. That is the entity admitting to what I'm alleging. All right, there is no admission on behalf of one individual. This is group conduct. That is the entity admitting, which is also the communication of an impermissible threat. While you are engaging in the conduct with knowledge that you're being documented, the entity's in a dislike or disdain for backing down. You're going to be prosecuted for that. That is the character of the demonic entity, by the way. That is calling for the necessity of such intense prosecution, all right, in policy. It is currently 9:07 a.m., and that is documentation capturing the admission of the entity engaging in what is terrorism and the federal stalking system, as I have alleged and as I have already unilaterally documented and published. All right, it is 9:07 a.m., that's P.O.C. AEXX511 C84066Y2 in the parking lot of the 625 Marino Salon while the state's flying over in an airplane. They're stalking with light, using their reverse lights in alignment to me in this parking lot across the street, right? P.O.C. And Marino Salon is directly across from the Habit restaurant. All right, so that's the parking lot where they're stalking with light, acting with the state that's flying over, making a U-turn right in the airspace in alignment with me, acting in concert with that state that's stalking in an airplane and with a fake sun over my head. Seven NRE 206. 7 TUV 204. 85541R2. That's Union Pacific engaging in audible activity while the people of the state are creeping around like the cockroaches they are. They're demons that are stalking in the path, waiting as I'm walking on the sidewalk, including 7S9322. Again, that is 7S29322, and directed light reaching across the driveway as he drives out onto Holt Boulevard. So he's touching while he's stalking, and stalking with Union Pacific. San Antonio and Holt Boulevard as I'm passing Ontario Village. And Ontario Village is armed with surveillance cameras, so you'll see that group stalker. He's sitting in the parking lot. The context is that I'm walking on the sidewalk. The state is creating audible activity via Union Pacific, and this group stalker is waiting to cross paths with me as I'm walking on the sidewalk. And then he's molesting with the state with directed light. The state is flying over Golden Bear an amplifying plane activity. All right, and what is a small government plane, which you're not going to hear? That's the state playing a tape of the sound of a plane. So that demons such as BE24P32 in a paper plate can monitor, 6XSW685 can monitor, 8URT202. They're all monitoring under the fake sun. License 7T05480. 7UV8294, 7V59943. 6ZOU491, I believe. 27061T2. BP16J84, directed light in front of their truck. That's a paper plate. Psychopaths. License plate. Oh, no license plate on that Jeep. 41360D1 is crossing path. I believe I read that license plate already. It is 9:11 a.m. 8WTF742, 6SPY776. All right, and the stalkers are monitoring of Ontario Village, of Tom's Burgers, and lining around the Starbucks in the drive-thru, 8KDW283. Get this one exiting the Starbucks property, which you'll also see on camera, 7M65843, I believe. And this one exiting, and one is entering, that's pacing. This third party in a gold Honda Acura 7CHN770. All right, 8XCR116, 5RXH088, 4VYR179. Minute 5YNL095, 8HIU942, 6XSW685, 8VSH549, 8WPN728, F119XO, 7UPE033, 8VVV918, 7NRE206, and 6GND731. Let me get these over here, because next door they're monitoring at Tacos Estilo La Guadalajara. 6VRW203. And this one, stalking in the path, coming down the back alley, coming from the drive-thru. License 8WYE560. All right, and now the fake sun is right here aiming on me and the parking lot of Starbucks, where it's already supposed to be at. Right? It wasn't there, not even in this direction. You saw it remaining over my head where I am at Shiro's Liquor, 8WLC939, 8SZB998, stalking with that entity. As demented as that entity, okay? These are demons under the fake sun, engaging in demonic activity, which is terrorism, together. It's 9:13 a.m. Well, those are nice. Oh no, those are fake. I thought those were gravy. All right, it's 9:13 a.m. I am inside of the venue and the state's fake sun. Let me get these that are in the drive-thru. 7GWD623, and that's stalking with light as I walk inside of the venue, okay? They start mixing beams. It's called audible activity. 8KDW283. And you already understand that. You saw the light show. It's a direct communication and the mark of demon possession. That environment is inside of Starbucks, all right? This is demonic activity inside of that venue. Directed light while this group stalker in the Civic, whose license plate I already recited. She looks like he, driving a Honda Civic. It is 9:14 a.m. All right, 9:32 a.m. I'm just taking some snapshots of what is the ongoing pattern of conduct underway inside of a third-party facilitating venue, Starbucks, located at 706 West Holt Boulevard. The people of the state maintain presence inside of this venue, and they maintain activity. And this is terrorism at this venue. And you're looking at what is the environment. The directed light is moving all about on the walls, and that's what I'm capturing. You're looking at the background while they are in relevant positions, stalking with the state, while they're buying coffee and while they're preparing coffee. Okay, this is demon possession underway at Starbucks, your neighborhood Starbucks. Okay, and you're looking at what is absolutely unnatural occurring all around them while they are stalking one who was documenting it. Okay, this is going toward the third party, that is Starbucks, and this is going toward the entity, the people that are monitoring with the state and stalking at every venue, stalking in an environment that is following everywhere you go, and doing so while communicating that threat. This is the intent to terrorize, where you were monitoring as a gang, which the people of the state of California are a gang, an unprecedented gang, a demon-possessed gang. So this is terrorism in that environment, and you're looking at what is the ongoing directed light while they are maintaining presence. And these are demons that are intentionally doing so. This light activity is not a coincidence with their perpetual presence. This is the demonic system in operation, and it is the practicing of demonic activity as I am documenting and exposing it. And this is what this is what they're doing all day long. Okay, so this is ongoing terrorism as I document it, and that's just what I took snapshots of. These are demon-possessed stalkers. All right, as I am taking their picture, as I'm documenting, as I'm speaking to the ongoing environment, I am identifying those who are demon-possessed as well. So understand that's what I'm also revealing. It's 9:33 a.m. That's P.O.C. I want to make sure I get the identity of the group stalker monitoring with minor children, intentionally keeping their back to the camera while these demons know they're being documented, getting inside of license 6WMB172. That's a Caucasian male, and you see the directed light, and they're monitoring with minor children, directed light on the floor, dynamic directed light all over the walls while they're engaging in terrorism with minor children. And right now touching and engaging in terrorism as they open their door. And that's directed light on the asphalt, okay? The state's fake sun is over the building, and light, again, disappears. So I say opening and closing their door. That's how demons can act with the state, okay? That's license 6WMB172. Those cowards keep their back to me while they're engaging in stalking and monitoring with the state. That's terrorism with minor children, all right? P.O.C. Alrighty, the demons that I capture on images, keeping their backs to me. Satan knows he's being documented. 40194F1, 8JLK000, paper plate BR42D22. Let's see, license, directed light, molesting with directed light. This one whose license plate, he walks past me and molests with his shadow, which the state is using directed light to do so, 8JLK000. This is license JPOWERS in the parking lot of Woodside Senior Apartments, engaging in federal stalking at that third-party facilitating venue at Starbucks right now, monitoring with the minions that are patrolling in and out. License plate 8EJG138, 8DBC061, 8SMT394, 8MRG891, 8SDY394. And the Latino male who is loitering in the parking lot, he maintains presence at the north end of the parking lot. He remains there sitting in that black Honda Civic. He's the one that I documented his face, captured an image on video, entering inside of the quote-unquote employee restroom in order to engage in the sexual violence that I also captured the Starbucks employee engaged in doing the exact same conduct, stalking with the state inside of the private space, monitoring someone while their panties are down, engaging in demonic activity. BR42D22, want to make sure I get that one. That's a paper plate. All right, those are the images of the group stalkers that I'm capturing, and I'm referencing the security cameras while they are stalking in the path, keeping their back to me, demons that know that they're being documented. All right, and they're also all facing the surveillance cameras on while they're walking around with double shadows, demon-possessed stalkers, P.O.C. And it is 10:29 a.m. I do want to get those that are monitoring via the drive-thru. So that would be 8MRG891. We have a whole big old family, not only a big family, but they're all big as well. 8SMT394, directed light on the opposite side, the passenger side of the vehicle, hitting the concrete wall as they are underneath the state's big sun. That's keeping light on the surfaces around while the demons are patrolling through the drive-thru, okay? Just like the state is doing on the inside with directed light. And they are making a purchase and they're stalking via the drive-thru that is licensed, again, 8SMT394. Operation and communication devices, and I'm surrounded with directed light on the floors inside of the venue. They are walking around with more than one shadow around their person while they're patrolling and stalking with activity. Like I recited, took a picture of the group stalker. He's doing what they're all doing. They put a trash can over here to the side of the table. That is their form for what is stalking with activity as they need to cross path. They're stalking with activity. That is their form for doing so. They are standing around with their backs to me. These are cowards, as they know that they're being documented. And they're stalking in the demonic environment inside of Starbucks. And doing so while the state is creating a light show. This is the terrorism as demons engage in it. And that's what I'm taking pictures of. And then I just stepped outside to get some more license plates of those demons who I happen to capture their images. It is currently 10:33 a.m. and that is P.O.C. ongoing at 706 West Holt at Starbucks. All right, I want to get some license plates, some minions in here monitoring, and I just showed a vivid image of what is directed light. Group stalker in the parking lot, license plate 32340E2. And that very well may be some state actor driving some other vehicle. You got another one that's monitoring, driving past. They're demons that are maintaining presence. 7RHS091. Demons maintaining presence under the fake sun in the parking lot. Demons maintaining presence inside of the venue in directed light, just like I showed you on video right now, as my shadow surrounds me inside of that venue. That's terrorism inside of Starbucks. All right, license plate, psychopath, stalker, sex offender, 5HBG906 and 8SJY868, 7TLB022, license 3CER548, 8NVY261, F119XL, those are still here, 6VCY474, 7UPE033, 2077904. That's the Idaho plate. The African-American male. They're both loitering in the relevant in the parking lot at the north end. Both African-American male that I engaged in a threat, speaking on behalf of the entity while he's stalking under the fake sun. Which right now it's 12:28 p.m. Remember, on that day it was much later in the afternoon. 6YGF927 and the state's fake sun is over the same parking lot. Okay, it is P.O.C. right now, and that is what I captured on video. When you're looking at my shadow and I'm showing you what's directed light, while I am showing you images, I'm taking still images of minions that are entering the venue. That's what they're doing in the venue. They're entering in and out, monitoring minor children. They're stalking together with the state that, by the way, as I've already established, is also stalking over this venue in plane and helicopter. While they are all together corporately, these are demons, listening to you pull your panties down and use the bathroom, intentionally engaging in presence, walking around in that demented light in order to monitor you while you're physically indisposed and your genitalia is exposed. All right, this is the documentation of the demon possessed who are very violent sex offenders and stalkers. 8KMT950. And that is exactly why they are maintaining presence in that environment. 7TLB022. That's exactly why that environment exists. All right, 5LBX780. It is currently 12:29 p.m. and you already know where the state's fake sun is right now. It's supposed to be right over my head at the entrance as I am at Ontario Open Family Community Library. Let me show you where it's at, though. It's not anywhere over there. Okay? It's P.O.C. It's right over my head at 706 West Hope Boulevard. All right, I did just capture video. And I wanted to punctuate my point of what I'm documenting, and also showing what is directed light as the people are entering in and monitoring with the state, monitoring with Starbucks, and speaking to what is directed light while they are systematically patrolling inside of the venue, and in the directed light, which I'm showing you on video. All right, the tables and the chairs here all have multiple shadows. Right, this is an absolutely demonic environment. And while I'm walking in the environment, these demons that work at Starbucks are stalking with noise. That's terrorism. All right, and the directed light inside of this venue, that's terrorism. While I am being surrounded with what is directed light that's not sunlight on both sides of me, that is terrorism. While the people are maintaining presence in that demonic environment, that is terrorism. And while I walk from one place to the other, flashing light all around inside of the venue, that's terrorism. And it is also a sexually violent threat as you go inside of this private space. And as the people of the state of California, acting via Starbucks, engage in this system, and do so, as I stated, you have, and I want to document 12:32 p.m. flashing light on inside of the depths where the register area is, where they are maintaining presence. Toward the end of the bar, flashing light on that wall, absolutely impossible. Equally impossible, light on the ceiling, light through the walls of the bathroom, through this small little hallway. All of it is impossible, but I just want to speak to what the state is doing. Starbucks is going to be associated and prosecuted for that. What the state is doing, Starbucks is doing. Understand, this is demonic conduct. This is a demonic environment, all right? And this is essentially, let me put the long and short of it, Satan is running Starbucks, all right? And Satan is going to be shown as that which is running this entity, all right? And the entity I'm speaking as to the third party, that is Starbucks. And that's the reality, because this is what is plaguing those who are working for this company, and it needs to be known what this company is engaging in. The company is nothing but those that are working for it, and those that are working for it are engaging in demonic conduct that is sexually violent and is terrorism, all right? And that's the reality of it. Right now, while I'm inside of the private space, every word that I am uttering is a matter of public information. Everything that I'm doing inside of the private space is a matter of public information, and that too is established by the environment that is deliberately maintained, all right? It is 12:33 p.m. and that's P.O.C. All right, I want to document harassment. It's both harassment and sexual violence, because they are coming to the bathroom to create audible activity while it clearly says occupied on the door. And so you have to look at the door in order to enter the code where it clearly says occupied. And so you have what is a third-party group stalker, and understand Starbucks is in no way distinct from the third-party group stalkers that are entering in. They're monitoring together. And so you have what is a patron that comes in and is creating activity by trying to open up the door, where you have to look down at the sign that says occupied in order to try to open the door. This is activity creation. And then this third-party group stalker, who is a sex offender, monitoring together, understand that this is a variation of the employees entering inside of that bathroom and parallel to me, and the state creating audible activity. So this is how they're doing it. And then he engages in what is harassment, calling me a bitch, calling me fucking stupid. I'm just repeating the audible activity because I'm going to prosecute Starbucks and the entity for that. Every single last one of them in the drive-thru are monitoring to that audible activity. I just captured video of the state's fake sentence remaining over this venue. This is inevitably the ongoing pattern of conduct, and that was a violent, harassing variation of the same exact activity creation inside of the private space. Starbucks employees blatantly disregard, which I'm referencing the surveillance cameras at the same time. This is 12:37 p.m. Surveillance cameras, and I'm referencing letting them know that someone is harassing me in the bathroom, trying to break in. It clearly says occupied. They clearly disregard it. And I want to flip that, because where group stalkers engage in harassment, they engage in criminal summoning, calling the police, having absolutely no reason to do so whatsoever. But where I am speaking to what is blatant misconduct by someone who was inside of their venue, they disregard it, okay? They are monitoring together, and this is documentation of what is harassment. This is an overage. He's overage. This is an aged Latino male. He's clearly on the cameras. He's in the bathroom area, and he is creating activity by seeking to, this is a break-in, because first of all, they're monitoring. So this is knowledge that I'm already in here. Second of all, even as third parties want to claim ignorance, the sign clearly says occupied, and you have to look down at that sign in order to enter the code and try to open the door. So there is no argument either way. But I'm just addressing that which third parties engage in, which they don't have any form. But this is what demons do. This is reality. Demons are liars, and they don't have any form. And this is Starbucks. Also understand how demons operate. This is how they are also communicating what is hostility as they are monitoring my documentation. Okay. So I want to be clear. It is 12:40 p.m. That's 12:37 p.m. on the surveillance cameras, which I do step out to reference, and I also specifically address the employees here who act like they don't hear anything, and understand they're listening to me in the bathroom. They know everything I'm saying. They act like it's not happening and totally disregard it. And on the flip hand, I want to document this same entity engages in criminal summoning, looking for any excuse to call the police, who are already stalking in relevant position. All right, that's the pattern of conduct, criminal summoning. But I just want to point that out. All right, that distinct character that demons engage in. They call the police when they have any inkling of an itch to do so, for no reason, in other words. And on the flip side, you have what is disregarding, when third parties are in blatant disregard of my rights, of my safety. I'm letting them know. So why is he trying to break in the bathroom? And now he's cussing and harassing me outside of the bathroom. And this is nothing but audible activity, and what is flashing light and the directed light that I just showed you is right out there in that space. So they're all monitoring together. Let me be clear on that, okay? It is 12:41 p.m., and that is P.O.C., that is sexual violence, and that is the form for what is the ongoing monitoring inside of the private space. So understand what that is. Harassment as the form for monitoring inside of the private space, as opposed to what is the third party that enters the bathroom now and immediately, excuse me, this no, All right, I did go ahead and document the Asian female, the same one who ignored my letting her know that someone is trying to break in the bathroom, and then his engaging in harassing and cussing me out. Then you have another third party that, and they're all monitoring together, okay? So this is the ongoing contact. Then you have another one that comes in, and this is what I captured on video right now. The directed light is right behind his head, his multiple shadows while he's pacing back and forth. You're a fucking bitch. This is all audible activity that they're monitoring too, and these are demons. And understand, the entirety of the entity is monitoring to this, and the fake sun is over 706 West Holt, okay? Then you have the Starbucks employees, the one that I just addressed, while they disregard the group stalker that is trying to break in while I'm clearly occupying the restroom, and I'm letting them know that he's harassing me. And so you have a third party that goes and engages in that same summoning, and she's on her phone. Understand that that's a threat to summon when you don't even have a reason to. What are you calling the police for about the bathroom? All right. What they need to do is engage in making sure that no one's trying to break in. That's a sexually violent threat. But understand that these are demons that are monitoring. And I want to be clear. She's holding up her phone. She's pacing. These are third parties who are monitoring. And that's an ongoing threat to engage in criminal summoning, which this video is already documented as engaging in as a pattern. Okay. It's 12:45 p.m. and I did capture that video. You see the directed light blaring behind his head. All right. And then he's pacing back and forth, cussing me out as his audible activity in directed light inside of the venue. All right, that is P.O.C. It's 12:45 p.m. All right, I do want to document Jasmine, who I do address upon exit. She's pacing back and forth with the phone, which is a threat to engage in criminal summoning when you don't have any. No grounds exist, period, because you're talking about documenting federal stalking. But even in their twisted universe, you don't even have any grounds to summon the police. You're talking about the bathroom, and you should be able to handle your own venue with regard to people trying to break in when it clearly says occupied, okay? And you also have what is the documentation of harassment by one who is a group stalker who engages in calling me all kinds of bitches and calling me a predator while I'm documenting federal stalking. Directed light is all around inside of the venue, and they're all monitoring to that audible activity inside of that private space. So understand harassment as the guise for what was activity creation while they're all stalking under the fake sun and in directed light. And that white male engaging in that ongoing assault is 6TCD 870. He remains congregated outside of that bathroom door the entire time that I'm there, all right? And engaging in what is that threatening speech while he is monitoring with the state. All right, and that is facilitated by Starbucks, all right? That is the same exact conduct as an employee entering in and being the guise under which you're supposedly hearing impact and a toilet flushing as they enter and exit that bathroom, okay? The same group stalker in the black silver Honda Civic who remains positioned inside of that venue, that's his audible activity. While he is also inside, now he's walking on surveillance cameras and he's walking back to his vehicle, all right? This is, let me get these license plates, 7LEA 950. 4YNT 605, 8TED 555, and I think I got this one, 6YGF 927. It is currently 12:53 p.m. And I already got that one. All right, so this is, to get this one, it is Anyway, so it is currently captured video of what is maintenance under the state's fake sun and harassment by what are the demon possessed. So this is a escalated level of terrorism while they are hostile to being documented. 7LEA 950. All right, and that's P.O.C. All right, 8XHR675 and paper plate BG19R60. Come beat my ass. 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 While you're walking away, that's not how you talk shit. You're supposed to stand your ground and talk shit. Okay, bye. I'm ready. I'm ready when you are. 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 Bye. That's P.O.C. That's a threat by a third party. I'm going to beat your ass under the fake sun. That's P.O.C. It is 12:55 p.m. And that was the license plate that I did capture on video, but I want to make sure I recite it on my podcast. 1 second. Excuse me. All right, vocalizing threats under the state's environment, that is in the state's fake sun, as they are also engaging in what is sexual violence, monitoring in a private space, and then demonstrating what is hostility to that documentation while they're engaging in what is terrorism. That is the third party who I also capture. She's on the surveillance cameras inside of the venue. She is stalking in the path with the state, in the state's environment, and vocalizing a threat while she's being documented, and that is in license plate 74452Y1. All right, and she, again, I want to quote, I'll beat your ass, and then recites that and then walks away. Okay, so it's audible activity. It is hostility, and understand that that is a threat that is being uttered by the state. All right, she's monitoring with the entity. All right, let me get these license plates in the drive-thru. 6LLH054 38680C3, and it is 12:57 p.m. That is P.O.C. And again, 12:50. I want to document this because while you have what are third parties that are engaging in harassment, you have what is congregating around the bathroom. So that's the analysis for what is federal stalking by sex offenders who are monitoring with the state. But you have what is harassment. All right, because you are waiting in the bathroom is not necessary to engage in what is the verbal assaults. All right, the bitch, you're a predator. Understand these are demons that are hostile, and know that I'm documenting them as the sex offenders that they are. So I am all kinds of bitches and predators, and they're going to beat my ass. Understand that these are demons that are uttering what is audible activity, and this is attributed to Starbucks, who is facilitating that. And the more you document, the more Satan is frustrated by it, and you prosecute for that. Okay, because this is reasonably precipitating from the government's criminal system, and they literally have three shadows all around them while they're walking around here. These are a demented group. And I want to be clear, while this harassment is ongoing, were it me engaging in that, the police would already be here, okay? They would call the police if I cough incorrectly. That's the reality of how demons conduct themselves, especially but for documentation and speaking to what is the criminal system as I am now revealing it, all right? And the criminal summoning is the pattern of conduct while they are engaging in criminal activity. If I was harassing people with speech, if I was standing outside of the bathroom and someone just wanted to make a big deal out of it, all right? Just like I documented on Terry Over Family Community Library. You are monitoring and I'm standing using my phone. I can use my phone just like you were standing there using your phone. Why are you assuming that I'm recording you? Why are you assuming that it's even about you, all right? But you have what is the outward appearance acting like they're not focused on you, but this is contrary to what they are clearly communicating and then lying and doing so and using it as a means to engage in what is harassment, trying to escalate a point, all while you are documenting their criminal system that's in operation, all right? And that P.O.C. doesn't stop. So you're monitoring with that violent speech while you're threatening physical harm, while you are engaging in what is sexual violence corporately, all right? So while you are engaging, in other words, understand while the state is maintaining presence with you inside of that private space, while you are walking around with multiple shadows all around your body, while you are walking around under that which is not the sun, an entirely demented environment, all right? Speaking to the demented entity that is waging that threat toward you. That's terrorism in and of itself, but they represent the state engaging in that harassment and that threatening conduct, all right? That's how you're analyzing it. It's 12:59 p.m., and this is documentation of none other but what is satanic, all right? And it is what I'm saying it is, as I document demons, and I'm not here for that. I'm going to document it. And this is speaking to what is the necessity of policy and that prosecution, that punishment for what is terrorism by a public entity. that is resistant and does not like being captured as the sex offending stalkers that they are. And you're going to remember the background, pay attention to the context. While they're making these threats, while they're engaging in this harassment, while they are engaging in congregating around and creating audible activity, albeit through violent speech, look at the fake sun, you look at the directed light, you look at the ongoing stalking presence. That's the pattern of conduct, all right? And that does not stop. It's 1 p.m. on the dot. That's P.O.C. All right, I want to make sure that I clarify. That is Starbucks. That is a sex offender. Okay, that is Starbucks. That is threatening to wage physical harm while they're engaging in federal stalking and sexual violence inside of the private space. That is Starbucks. That is engaging in that congregation around the restroom, listening in real time and monitoring, and even using that harassing speech as their audible activity. All right, understand that is fully and indistinguishable from Starbucks, where the pattern of conduct is underway, and they are also engaging in facilitation by disregarding that which they should be addressing. And understand, if they had the opportunity, were it the other way around, they absolutely would. All right, go much farther than that is actually even necessary. So this is documentation of what is Starbucks. Understand, Starbucks is the one that's threatening my life. Starbucks is the one that's threatening physical harm. Starbucks is the one that's monitoring while my panties are down, and doing so in concert with these demon-possessed stalkers that are Starbucks, and these that are entering and maintaining presence with the state. All right, that's 1:03 p.m. That's P.O.C. Hello.
I'm the police.
I know that. What can I help you with? Why are you coming to ask me if I'm okay? A. Alvarado?
Yes.
Number 80330?
Yeah.
What can I help you with?
Well, they're calling because they're concerned about you.
Who's calling?
The store here.
Starbucks called you? Why?
They said that they're making sure you're okay. Because I don't know if you had an issue here or something.
Does it look like it?
I don't know. I just got here.
Okay, this is called criminal summoning. What did they tell you?
They told me that you're in the bathroom and you're throwing things. I don't know.
That I'm throwing things? Okay, so this is making up information again. All right, anything else? Oh, you don't know why you're here?
Listen, I'm trying to get your side of the story. How about
There is no story. You're here, and there's no reason for you to be here, so I want to get your story as to why you came and are disturbing me.
Well, listen, it's their business.
And I'm able to sit in here.
So they actually want you to leave.
Why?
Because they just don't want your business anymore.
Okay.
I don't want to cause an issue with you.
You just said that you were here to find out if I'm okay.
I know, but they explained to me that they don't want you here.
For what reason?
Because they say that you're causing disturbance.
And they can make up whatever they want. Run back the tape. Because they're threatening me. That's not me. I'm in the bathroom. So you're talking about you're here, and they told you to come here and it has to have me leave for no reason.
I get it.
No, you don't get it. No, you don't. And you're literally making up information as you go.
Well, that's what you may feel like.
No, it's not a feeling. You are. Who said that they want me to leave? On what grounds?
They don't want your business. They have the right to refuse your business.
Where's that at? Not for no reason. That's called discrimination. You're just hand-picking someone. Because I told them that someone's trying to break in the restroom.
Okay.
So you're here, you're just going to come and be the strong arm for some fabrication? Is that what you're doing,
no,
Alvarado? Because that's exactly what you're doing.
I'm just trying to keep the peace. How about that?
How is that peaceful? You walked in here, you see me sitting here minding my business, do you not?
But they pointed
just
you
like
out.
Everyone else. Exactly, they pointed me out.
So let me ask you
For
this.
what?
What are you planning to do? Hang out here?
What do you mean, what am I planning to do? The same thing that they're planning to do.
Okay, but the thing is, I can have the manager come over and she can tell you that she wants you gone.
Okay, is that what you want to do, Alvarado?
Well, I just don't
Is that why you're
I don't
here?
want
You're
any
Ontario
disturbance.
Police.
Yes. I just don't want any disturbances with you, okay? I don't want any...
There was no disturbance with
They
me.
said that there was.
I know, and they can say anything. I said that's a fabrication.
I understand that, okay?
So where's the manager then?
So I don't know. I'll find out.
Okay, do that.
And then if they want you gone, will you please leave?
If they want me gone, they can communicate that. They called you to come tell me that, Alvarado?
Yes.
That's called criminal summoning, all right? And having no grounds to do so. Go ahead. Get the manager.
You sound like you're very knowledgeable and stuff. It's just like you should. The thing is, what I'm trying to avoid with anything.
You're not trying to avoid anything. You are here to escalate a non-existent situation. That's what you're here for. And you literally, yes, you are. And in your position, and now you're speaking for them, and they're going to go with that narrative that now they want me to leave. All right. I went and used the restroom. I came in and I sat down just like all the rest of them. And there is no situation. You want to create one?
I'm not creating anything.
You just did.
I came here because I
Them
got called here.
Alvarado,
I got summoned here.
That's creating a situation, sir.
Yeah, but I got summoned.
That's creating a situation, sir.
You can say whatever you want to say.
That's what that is.
That's your opinion. But
No, that's a reality. When you call the police for no reason, that's creating a situation. Hello. It is 1:11 p.m. This is Criminal Summing Officer I. Alvarado. This is the Ontario Police Department. The same kidnappers, the same ones engaging in federal stalking. They're already monitoring a relevant position. All right? And Jasmine is identifying herself as the manager. The same one who I told was they were trying to break in the bathroom, and she doesn't acknowledge it. Hi, Jasmine. I spoke with you. Yeah. Can you come tell me? Can you come tell me, Jasmine? Okay, they don't want to communicate with me. First of all right, this is the third party and the state acting together in concert. So let me get that. All right, so Jasmine, would you like to communicate with me? Because she could have told me that and you called the police. I Alvarado. Okay. This is P.O.C. So this is understand. Pay attention to this. So this is the pattern of conduct. And I want to be clear. Jasmine's identifying herself as a manager. Ontario Police crossing path on San Antonio. Directed light shooting inside of the venue. So why is Jasmine not able to communicate with me? So I spoke with you at the register, Jasmine, and I told you when, let me be clear, because we communicated and I told you that that man that was breaking in the bathroom and was cussing me out in front of you, he did that in front of you and you did not acknowledge anything. You didn't say anything about that. And then when I come out of the restroom, and there was a second guy that comes in and tries to break in, and the sign clearly says occupied. So they have to look at it in order to try to open the door. So trying to claim ignorance, that is clearly a lie. You know that it's occupied. But my other point is that when I address you about that, you say nothing. You say, oh, okay, well, they were just trying to get inside of the restroom. And what you're telling...
They were trying to get into the restroom. I said they weren't trying to break in because you're saying they're trying to break in. They're not trying to break in. They were trying to use the restroom.
When it says occupied, though, if you're in the bathroom, Alvarado, what does occupied mean? Somebody's in there, right? Okay. And that's why you have those signs on those doors, correct? Mm-hmm. So that someone... Okay, so you have what is a pattern. Okay, within 2 minutes, while I'm in the bathroom, 2 different people engage in trying to open the door when it is clearly displayed as occupied. You are the one that works here. Yes. So I let you know while it's happening. And then it happens again, and I come out and I let you know.
The first time you did it, you were arguing with the man, so that's why.
No, the first time I did. You mean the second time? The second time that.
Both times actually, because you guys were going back and forth.
The second.
So like I said, like we don't tolerate when you guys are like yelling in here. That's the.
I'm the one that's in the bathroom. Okay. So you want to equate somebody trying to break in the restroom with me, and I'm the one that's creating the disturbance. I'm in the bathroom. So let's get the facts straight. On your surveillance cameras, it will show that I came out of the bathroom and I said, this man is harassing me and trying to break in the bathroom. You disregarded that. Then the second Caucasian man, the bigger one, he comes. Now, he walks out and he's talking to you, and then you're pacing back and forth with your phone like you're about to call the police. And I'm the one that's telling you that they're trying to break in the restroom. So my point, besides, I just want to get the facts right, because that's what your surveillance cameras will show. But my point is, when I finish using the restroom and I come out and I tell you, are you going to do anything about that? That's a problem that I'm in the restroom that clearly displays that it is occupied, and you have what is a pattern within that short amount of time of men trying to break in the restroom while I'm in there. I do have a problem with that, and that makes me uncomfortable. And then they're also engaging in cussing me out while doing so. And you don't do anything. And then you wanted to not communicate with me. You disregarded it. You did. And I went back to my seat. You have what is the Ontario police that come and you communicate with Alvarado when you could have clearly communicated with me. Number one, that you don't care that someone's trying to break in the bathroom if that's the case. And secondly, that if your vantage point is that I'm the one that's creating the disturbance as they're trying to break in the bathroom or trying to open the door, however you want to term that, while I'm in the bathroom. How does that convert into, and can you please communicate with me what you want to tell him and not tell me?
Okay, like I said, I didn't tell him anything that I wouldn't tell you.
Well, you just told him right there. What did you tell him? Because you didn't say anything. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so this is the thing. We do.
And you're the manager here, right, Jasmine?
I am one of the shift leaders in charge right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we did have complaints also of people being recorded that they're uncomfortable. So one,
You have people that's very vague. What are you talking about?
So that you were going around recording people. So
that I'm holding my phone up? That I'm using my phone?
I don't know. Okay, so those are specific.
Alvarado, is this
You don't need to explain all that stuff. All you need to tell her right now is just...
Okay.
That's Alvarado giving her lines. Go ahead.
Okay, so since you are not using our space properly, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
Using your space properly?
Yeah, so
How?
we know one, there was yelling over here, and that's not appropriate.
No, that man was yelling at me.
So it was both ways.
I'm telling you, he's cussing me out.
Okay, both of you guys
How
are going
is
back
that?
and forth.
So anyone can come in here and violently threaten me, and then you're going to put me and equate me with the one who's trying to get in the bathroom and threatening me. That's what you're saying?
So the other one had already left. Right?
What other one had already? The first guy? Yeah, he had already left.
Okay, so that's the thing. Like, they were coming up to me telling me, like, you were trying to... the thing is that they were not trying to break into the restroom when you were in there. They were.
Okay, we're getting past that. You're saying you're vague. You're saying what even though Alvarado's saying you don't have to explain it. But if you want to kick me out and you don't have any reason, you went to the extent of calling the police. Contrary to what Alvarado is saying, you should have some explanation as to why you're calling the police on customers. You should. I'm sitting here minding my business, which Alvarado witnessed as he walks in. All right, so I want to know what complaints, what is this about? And I'm sitting here, and I have been sitting here, and I've seen you before. And because I'm using my phone does not mean that I'm recording someone. That's a very specific allegation.
Okay, well that's what
which by the way, I'm just now hearing right now. I'm just now hearing this now.
Okay. So like I said, we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
Okay, so, but for what, Starbucks? For what?
You don't have to explain.
Okay.
I'll come back to you. Okay, you heard it from the manager. They're asking you. I am here just to make sure that you keep the peace. Can you please leave so you're not subject to a trespass?
Okay, so what does that mean though?
So if you refuse to leave, they will place you under citizen's arrest, and then I would have to be forced to take you to the jail. We don't want that. I don't want that problem.
Of course not.
I'm just asking you to go on your merry way. Go anywhere else. Just not to Starbucks today.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow. Hold on. You keep talking. You have a lot to say. You're a very intelligent girl.
Do you?
Hold on. Time out. Let me talk.
I'm not going to answer your question, you saw that exchange.
I'm not asking you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
You sound like a
You saw that. Go ahead.
Stop talking. You sound like a very intelligent girl.
Why can't I talk?
Because you have been talking the entire time. You won't give me an opportunity to say
No,
anything.
I have been talking because you guys are saying stuff that doesn't make sense.
Okay,
She's vague.
So are you going to let me talk?
Go ahead.
Okay. You sound like you know what you're talking about. If this is a bigger complaint, reference Starbucks and the way they do things here, you should take their number down, which is probably somewhere on this wall, to complain to their management so you can get the answers that you're looking for, why they do such things.
That's not an answer. You're already here.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do is trying to prevent anything from occurring illegally.
It's an escalation when they call the police for no reason.
Okay, so I'm asking you to just gather your things and please
I'm doing that.
Okay.
My question was, you saw the, well, not my question, but all I'm saying is, you saw that exchange right there? Right? You saw it. I mean, you're standing here. You saw it. And you told her you wanted to cut it short and told her, oh, you don't have to explain. But I disagree with that. You're a business. And so you want to, especially after I told her.
I'm sorry how you feel about the way
it's not a feeling. It's what happened, and it's on the surveillance cameras. It's on the surveillance cameras. What's your name?
Mine?
Yeah.
Weekly.
Weekly? And what's your badge number, Weekly? 20211? Okay. This is criminal summoning by a third-party facilitating venue, Starbucks, engaging in the creation of a narrative as they are hostile to being documented, and this is documentation of what is not only federal stalking, but this is harassment upon sexual violence, and then summoning the entity that is already monitoring a relevant position. And understand directed light remains inside of the venue. The state's light source remains above the venue. And while they are in here engaging in the creation of a narrative, which is nothing but audible activity, it's all ongoing audible activity creation, ongoing monitoring, in other words. And this is, excuse me. Yeah, it's attached. This is what is the, it's not, I have it under control. That is P.O.C. by the Ontario Police Department, and I am on surveillance cameras. This is called criminal summoning, and my shadow is appearing on the menu at a distance. This is P.O.C. All right? It is currently 1:20 p.m. So I want to get the license plate of these vehicles, Ontario police that are monitoring with Starbucks. License plate 1591657, vehicle number 1032, and license plate 1532798. That is vehicle number 1887. Okay, license plate 06212P2. License plate 46447Z2, AVDR 324. And again, it is 1:21 p.m. This is license plate 8UVB945. Understand, this is the totality of the entity monitoring with the Ontario police. The fake sun is right over my head, okay? All right, I did document the ongoing remaining environment while I'm on what is the sidewalk of the property. And this is speaking to what is that hostility. And you're looking at, this is the absence of coincidence as I'm documenting the sex offender, all right, that I captured on video. He was let inside of the quote unquote employee restroom of the black Honda Civic. All right, that demon is hostile. He's out here yucking it up. And by yucking it up, I mean, that's in the vernacular. They're engaging in monitoring, and this is an expression of hostility as the police have been summoned pursuant to criminal summoning. This is the pattern of conduct that is underway right now, under the same exact fake sun, okay? And then you have what is the African-American male with the Idaho plates, the communication of what is a threat by the police who are present, all right? And this is the same demon that I documented under the same fake sun, all right? Criminal summoning by the Starbucks employee who is engaging and monitoring with the third parties who are all equally hostile as I'm documenting that whole entity. The entirety of the whole entity is monitoring together, and the whole entity engages in that communication of hostility. Understand the role of the police. They're supposed to be the strong arm of this system, whereby you're engaging in what is supposedly you're supposed to deter documentation. All right, and they have engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping while documenting. They're engaging in what is loitering presence under that environment. So indeed, understand what are the implications where federal stalking is underway. They don't have any presence. They don't have any right. They're here pursuant to criminal conduct. That's criminal summoning. It's a pattern of conduct while federal stalking is underway by the demon possessed, and they are loitering in that same environment under the fake sun, pursuant to what is the criminal activity of third parties, all of whom are those who have been specifically documented and they're hostile by it. This is how the demonic system is in operation, okay? I want to make sure that I specify that. And I want to be clear, Jasmine identifying herself, and understand I have witnessed those who actually appear as though they don't even work at Starbucks, but because I'm present and I document, all of a sudden they are a regular employee. Jasmine identifying herself as a shift lead. Understand that is whatever they are saying, they make it a reality. It is not necessarily so. They make it a reality. Jasmine is the one that I communicated with, and this is typically how they engage in it. Then this will be the one that identifies herself as the leader, having had a direct encounter with me. Understand that. All of them engaging in what is the pattern of conduct in that environment. Light on the ceiling, light flashing behind while I'm documenting the pattern of conduct. There's no form, okay? So I'm providing you what is the reality in that ongoing system, and as it is in operation, pursuant to what is criminal obstruction of justice, and that's the bottom line. 7 SUN 126. Criminal obstruction of justice is where you're engaging in criminal summoning. That's what that serves, while demons are hostile to being documented, okay? Monitoring with the police, 8 RCV 036, 8 UVB 945. And the third vehicle of Ontario Police that remain loitering under the fake sun, 1496971. License plate 6YYE 945. And understand what their form is. Oh, they're remaining because I remain within the proximity of the property. I'm not on the property anymore, first of all. But second of all, understand they don't have any form. This is the exercise of fictitious authority, all right, by one who is engaging in federal stalking. And they are doing so pursuant in that same exact environment, and doing so under the form provided by third-party group stalkers. That's how that system works, okay? 33783Z2, 7XJD736. All right, and as I already documented here, the African-American male with the Idaho plates, 8 P.O.C 578, the African-American with Idaho plates, the Latino male, the sex offender that is sitting under the sitting in the parking lot all day long as a sex offender, manning the north side of the Starbucks where the restrooms are. The group stalker who engaged in threatening me with physical harm while I'm documenting her, which I'm clear to do, and it's not illegal. And her immediate knowledge of that, while I am a distance away from her, she's paying very close attention to me, and then she immediately is engaging in a threat of harm. That white male that is engaging in abusive language while he is congregated outside of the bathroom, directed light behind his head while he's cussing me out and trying to break inside of the bathroom. Understand this is the communication of hostility utilizing the Ontario police, who are demon-possessed stalkers. All right? So let me be clear on that. I want to make sure that All right, I did document that, and I want to make sure I get 6XJD736 monitoring with Delta Airlines flying over my head, 6YYE945 monitoring with Delta Airlines. Understand the implications of that, how that breaks down. Delta Airlines is monitoring with the Ontario Police who are engaging in a terrorizing threat by virtue of their presence. And in addition, these are the demon-possessed who are stalking altogether, and that is an act of terrorism also, all right? That ongoing terrorizing environment, and then inviting what are law enforcement who are demon-possessed as well. And this is already fully documented, specifically the Ontario Police Department, in addition to what is the ongoing presence of the elements and that environment, okay? So it does not cease to exist while you engage in summoning the police who are already stalking in relevant position, all right? So understand the police were already monitoring me in the bathroom while that Caucasian male was hitting on the door and calling me all kinds of bitches. The Ontario Police were already present in relevant position monitoring to that, okay? So you have what is the outward form. There is no form, but this is the operation of the system. The outward form is, oh, we're going to summon, and then you're making up a narrative as to why you're summoning, all right, trying to justify. And there is no justification, but understand they don't even have the form of a justification, okay? You have what is stating, oh, well, we have complaints. And since when do we have complaints? Since right now I'm the one that complained that they're trying to break inside of the bathroom. And as she is fumbling her words and able to come up with one, which she does owe as a company, you want to call the police on people. And this is dealing with them in their twisted universe where monitoring is not underway. Okay, you want to call the police on people, then you should have a justification for doing so. And as she's fumbling for her words, Alvarado gives her lines and stating that she doesn't have to justify, which is not true. That is not conduct of a company that is acting appropriately or acting justly, especially as she disregards men trying to break into the bathroom, that's exactly what that was. Trying to break into the bathroom while I'm in there. She disregards that, and then she comes up later with, oh, people are complaining that you're recording them, which is a very specific allegation. If you're not focused on me, and how do you know what I'm doing while I'm at a distance away from you, holding up my phone and moving my mouth? Okay, that's P.O.C. It is 1:33 p.m., and that is documentation of what is the ongoing system of monitoring. Understand, criminal summoning is the affirmation. Not that I need it. I don't need it. I've already established it. The state's fake sun is literally over the venue while they're engaging in criminal summoning. That is the ongoing confirmation of that which I document. The entity that is very fearful. Understand that's an act of fear, all right, by Satan, as I'm documenting the entity, and that is that which you also prosecute for. So Starbucks is a sex offender. Starbucks is a violent terrorist. Starbucks is a stalker, all right? Starbucks is engaging in that conduct and facilitating that system, and then engages in criminal summoning as they are very fearful of the documentation that they are monitoring as it is being published on the internet, all right? It is 1:33 p.m., and I want to be clear, the absence of any illegality of documenting, and it's a matter of necessity. I'm not even going to actually entertain that, because where the entity is monitoring, documentation is necessary. So you have what are third parties that are mad because you're getting their license plate, which is something that you're displaying on your vehicle anyway. And secondly, it really should not be something that is frustrating you unless you have a consciousness of guilt. What are you concerned for? And if you're some crazy person that's just gathering license plates, what am I going to do with it? It doesn't matter. But my point is, that is necessary, and that is going to be the means of documentation of an entity that is stalking, period. All right? And moreover, it's not illegal. What federal stalking is illegal. And the targeted individual shall document, and every act of obstruction of justice, like I just documented right now, 6ZHC223, shall be added on to those federal charges, the litany, all right? Where government is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people, the federal charges are, I mean, you can't write it down on a piece of paper. It's a system that is causing harm that you can't quantify, but it is able to be prosecuted, and it will be justly dealt with, right, in that proper form. So I want to make sure that I document that. Criminal summoning is literally proof of what you are documenting. That's the pattern. All right, the entity is very scared. All right, but that fear is communicated with hostility and show of fictitious authority, which they don't have while they're engaging in criminal activity together. And that's the reality of it, okay? And then they're using literally the Ontario Police Department. They are a vacuous effort. They're literally, they don't have any air. There's nothing there, okay? They have nothing. That you literally summon the kidnappers and the stalkers as they have been fully documented. And that is the entirety of that agency. It is currently 1:36 p.m. and that is P.O.C. And that is referencing this Starbucks at 706 West Holt. And this is going toward the totality of that documentation. I am in no way perturbed or deterred in any way by documenting. I am accustomed to dealing with what are demons, and this is the reality of it. Demons that are they act in a vicious manner, especially as you reveal their secrets. And the secret is with regard to the fact that they are violent sex offenders, and engaging in the hypocritical conduct of threatening violence and calling names, which actually apply to them. Okay, that's Satan. All right, that is the demonic aspect, and that's what you're seeing up close and personal. That's what I'm confronted with, and it doesn't bother me. I deal with it. I'm publishing it because it needs to be known with regard to, again, my focus: policy, exposure, and prosecution. That is my focus, and it needs to be understood what demonic activity is and the ways in which that is being translated into what you're witnessing, what you're experiencing, what you're looking at, what you're around every day. And that was ongoing demonic activity. And by the way, that environment that did not cease to exist, that absolutely unnatural environment that did not cease to exist. And so with knowledge of the fact that they don't have any credibility, they are still relying on what is that fictitious authority, calling on the police who they know are documented. The police come and they know that they're documented, and they're just holding on to that which they actually do not have. All right, they don't have any form, they don't have any authority. They're acting outside of the bounds of the law. They know that they're under a fake sun, which I have clearly outlined and established, and they're engaging in it knowing that is being documented, and that is speaking to the absence of credibility. That's not suggesting any sort of innocence whatsoever. That is speaking to the threat that the entity wages, the impermissible threat, while they're engaging in terrorism together, with knowledge that they don't even have any grounds to. They all know, believe me. That was an act of desperation, so I just want to make sure that I elaborate on all of that. It is currently 1:38 p.m., and that is the absence of the state's fake sun over 215 East C Street, the library. All right, where the state's fake sun is clearly over my head in a central location as I step out and capture the remaining presence of the state's fake sun, which I have in video. I've captured that before. I step out literally at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this time 1:30 in the afternoon, and the state's fake sun is directly over my head as I stand in front of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, where I'm headed now, and the state's fake sun is over my head as I'm walking east on Holt Boulevard. All right, that's going toward what was criminal summoning that I just endured right now, ongoing criminal obstruction of justice, as you are revealing the fact that Starbucks is a sex offender. Starbucks is a terrorist. All right, Starbucks is a very violent criminal. That's the substance. That's literally the breakdown based on objective evidence that I just gathered again. All right, and out of fear and out of frustration and demonic hostility, engaging in what is resorting to what is criminal summoning, which is the absence of all credibility by the Ontario Police Department. It is 1:39 p.m. and that is P.O.C. All right, 8 WTJ 387 70 99 342, 8 TFJ 075, 6 CJB 192, 7 KAM 732, 8 SUL 196, 5 TIJ 518, 8 LDR 252, 8 XAH 996, I believe, or 926. 4YRN 404. All right, I'm taking a picture of what is stalking in the path. A group stalker walking beside me across the street and manning the wall of the Holt Boulevard car wash, and also in front of me pacing back and forth in front of what is the, I believe that's the Eagles Airy and or Sam's Liquor. That's how the people maintain presence as they're stalking as a group. These are demons that are manning the path as I'm walking down the street. 8LFS 727, 7LYC 697. It's 1:41 p.m. 8TJC 636. And this is documentation of the state's fake sun on the same street, going back the opposite direction that it was this morning as I walked west down the same street. 8RQN 592. 4EDH 620. 5HPM 915. 6FPF 181. 8ERD 110. And remember, as I walked earlier at a earlier time yesterday, going back toward the library. Oh, funny. 6BIE 883. 8LXS 613. 8MLH 590. 8PTK 197. Heart YAA2. 6SML 390. 8VNR 851. 7CJW 994. 5GGA 967. 8TRW 185. 5PPY 120. 6TXP 776. Paper BE47 T62. 5YAC 171. 7VCR 808. Omnitrans 7VEK 955. License 7PLR 311. 8VLR 070. 6ZBE 022. 8VES 665. 8F I can't really see that one. 7H33789. 8EHM 714. 7ZFZ 711. All right, State's Fake Sun right now over state facilitating venue of the United States Post Office located at 123 Holt Boulevard as I'm walking east on Holt. All right, the state's keeping its fake sun right over my head as I'm walking down the street in direct conflict with where it was yesterday as I took a different route. The state's fake sun wasn't away from me over Holt Boulevard keeping in alignment. It was right over my head, just like I showed you at Laurel and C Street at 10:15 in the morning. All right, no license plate on that truck. 5YFD014, 8NUG282, 30107D3, 6GFM 713, 7TBF008. And that's exactly what Starbucks is scared of, especially if they see the same documentation showing the exact same system in operation. And there is no confusion about what I clearly documented. 7HKD492. Criminal summoning, you're only catching more. You're only catching more. And that's what that was about, 8KLY340. All right, and Jasmine wants to engage in that. She wants to be the man that 8SYJ920, 8XLN631, 4JDM961. All right, and Jasmine understands she's just the one that's stepping forward to be identified as the one engaging in criminal summoning. She is acting on behalf of the Starbucks. Every single last one of those minions are monitoring in there. They're all sex offenders. They're all demon possessed. They're all listening at the same time while I'm in the bathroom. 7YNY765 and stalking with activity while I'm in the bathroom. 5A04981, AB273 handicap, 8EVN910, 6EHX220. All right, they're looking at it video after video, and they're looking at it, and that's the context, all right? Let me show you something right now. It is 1:45 p.m. And I want to document what is the presence of the state's fake sun right where I captured at 11. Actually, it was before 11 when I left the library and I went to T-Mobile, and the state's fake sun is right over me, right? And then I exited at around 10:54, I believe, 10:54 a.m. It is 1:45 p.m. and the state's left 706 West Holt Boulevard to be over me as I walk in this direction. This is ongoing evidence against Starbucks. That pattern of conduct, even as I go to a different venue, I'm still documenting Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. Understand that. Okay, so as I go and I document 706 West Holt, as I document the state stalking with light, as I go to Shiro's Liquor, as I document the state's pattern of conduct while I am where I have already been, Economy Inn and Mayfair Inn and Woodside Senior Apartments, and in the car at 630 North Front, that's ongoing documentation against Starbucks, okay? So I just want to clarify that. But as I stand here now, this is ongoing documentation about what they just engaged in, which I'm going to prosecute that company for. It is 1:46 p.m. Here's the state's fake sun. All right, I did document what is the presence of the state's fake sun and clarifying the point of documentation. I'm engaged in ongoing documentation of that venue. And you have what is the remaining of the state's fake sun over my head in conflict and coming from a totally different direction. And it's clearly over that property. I'm showing you that while they're engaging in criminal summoning of the Ontario Police Department, who are heavily documented kidnappers and sex offenders and stalkers. All right, having zero credibility, but relying on that which they actually don't have, it's fictitious authority, because the Starbucks and all of those demons that I'm documenting are literally petrified while I'm documenting that very poignant, all right, very highlighting documentation on the video of the internet, as they're all monitoring because they know exactly moment by moment what I'm doing. They're monitoring, all right? Those are psychopaths that I just documented, all right, including the one that this old lady with substantial back fat. All right, she's not even 5 feet tall, but that's Satan. Understand? Feeling empowered by numbers. All right, when in reality, her overweight aged self will get tossed up. But I'm not going to waste my time with that. I'm going to toss her up in federal court. So she wants to make that threat. She's doing it with the Ontario Police Department. She's a kidnapper. She's a sex offender. She's engaging in federal stalking while she's making that threat, which she has no right to do. It's audible activity threatening my life. All right, and doing so with the company Starbucks. All right, who wants to engage in terrorizing and communicating a threat? 7GKG560. And communicating a threat because I'm documenting their criminal activity, their unprecedented criminal activity. No, you prosecute for that, okay? Stalking with light, sitting over here in their car, maintaining presence in the path, directed light, just like I showed you in the video, touching me while they're driving in the street, 8LDH868, demon-possessed stalker. Stalking over here, 7VBJ087. It is 1:50 p.m. That's why I just keep the tape rolling. Just keep the tape rolling. Because see, this is the thing about it. Their entirety of their system is being flipped on its head. Not only is documentation, I'm showing you what is the actual focus that these stalkers have. Not only are you deducing that from the unnatural environment, all right, but the absolute focus that they have on me while they know they're being recorded, all right? And guess what? That's exactly what's going to happen while you're engaging in federal stalking. That's exactly what's going to happen. 7ADL817, 6SMW009. And there's nothing illegal about it. You don't have any grounds to call the police for that. None. 8ROE295. They're all being recorded on surveillance cameras. All right? Their criminal activity is being documented in that regard. And by the way, that's what that is. That's documentation. So I'm documenting them, first of all, in more than one way. I do have these demons surrounded. I will be using that document. That's my documentation I'm going to prosecute them with. Notice my referencing that documentation while I'm speaking to Jasmine, who is doing so in the presence of the demon-possessed stalkers that are the Ontario Police Department, who are giving her her lines because that idiot can't get it together and give a real explanation. License plate 38955T2. And so you have what is, and you do owe an explanation. You want to call the police on customers? Apparently, and I'm showing you, this is what Starbucks engages in. I'm dealing with demons, okay? I'm revealing what is demonic activity of Starbucks, your neighborhood Starbucks. And yes, you do owe an explanation. You want to call the police on a customer that's not breaking the law. I'm not breaking the law. And it's going to be law, moreover, when you want to engage in federal stalking, you're going to be documented just like every other stalker. But there is nothing illegal about it. Heck are you talking about? If someone is stalking you, hiding behind your bushes, guess what? You're going to document that. You're not breaking the law. You're not breaking the law, whatever. These are demons that are hostile to it. And it's pathetic. It's pathetic. And understand, Satan can deal it, but he can't handle it. He cannot handle it. I'm going to handle it all, though. I'm going to handle it. A matter of fact, I'm sorry, I'm handling it. You're seeing how they're not handling it so well. They're not handling it very well at all. Criminal summoning is ongoing documentation. Criminal summoning is proof of guilt. All right? Criminal summoning is the pattern of conduct. It is 1:53 p.m. State's fake sun, based on the direction that I'm walking, is over my head as I'm walking north on Euclid Avenue. All right? And remember, the direct contrast to that, when I'm not walking north on Euclid Avenue, when I'm walking from S.I.I.S Liquor, for example, and I walk up Holt Boulevard, and I'm walking north up Plum, the State's fake sun is not over Holt Boulevard. It's right over me as I'm walking up that street, walking to the parking lot. That's what you saw in the parking lot of B&G Plaza. As I leave S.I.I.S Liquor, walking toward Andy's Burgers. That's what the state is doing with its fake sun. Following where I go. And then those stalkers want to call the police, who are stalking as well. All right? Because they are hostile and they're scared. That's the bottom line. Satan is pathetic, and he is a defeated and not in any way a formidable adversary whatsoever. Because that's the reality. That's at the baseline of this, at the source of it, it's Satan, and Satan is pathetic. I continue to demonstrate that. It is 1:54 p.m. There is no fake sun over the Ontario Over the Family Community Library, as I am in the Ontario Town Square walking toward that library. The fake sun is over my head as I am approaching the Ontario Town Square. Moreover, there is no situation or no circumstance, situation where you are going to be able to reconcile what is the state's fake sun remaining west of this venue, and then engaging in remaining setting what is east of that location to remain visible after 6 p.m. or 4 p.m. whenever I'm exiting the venue, because that's what the state has engaged in. That's what I documented yesterday. And you see it ahead of schedule west of that location. Moreover, I mean, you're not even talking about a far distance because the state is stalking where I'm at, but nonetheless, we can speak of it in generalities, even though the actual sun is not remaining on Euclid Avenue or on Holt Boulevard or on the building next to the library on the same street or the same strip of street. All right? That's what the state does, though. That's what the state does with its light source. All right? So as I handle what are demons, and I document them, and I also publish their foolish contradictions and the absence of any actual authority or credibility. Understand, this is going to translate to policy because you recognize, as I'm showing you clearly, what you are encountering. You're encountering Satan himself. Satan is a liar. All right? P.O.C. It is 1:55 p.m. All right, I just want to document these demon-possessed stalkers who literally follow me inside of the restroom, which would be seen on the surveillance cameras. I'm walking in. Seconds after I walk in, someone else walks in. And they are jiggling. Is it you? Jiggling metal keys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she walks in, jingling keys, and then walks out, okay? That's an employee as she's engaging in the elements of monitoring inside of the bathroom. She's standing right in front of the bathroom. Understand her job working at the library is the guise into which she's engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, stalking in the bathroom. So she walks in, loud jingling, sounding like keys, something metallic, following me inside of the restroom, and then she exits, and that's seconds after I enter. It's 3:53 p.m., and that'll be seen on surveillance cameras, and I am speaking with her. She's a Latina, overweight Latina, long curly hair, manning outside, manning the path outside of the bathroom. That's what she's engaging in while she is under the guise of doing her job, which is facilitation while the state's pattern of conduct is underway. That is sexual violence at Ontario Overwood Family Community Library. It's 3:54 p.m. That's P.O.C. All right, I want to document, I already documented on video what is the state's use of its, the directed light, the state light source, which remains over. Have a good night. The state's presence of its fake sun over the venue of the library as I exit, all right, and understand where I'm capturing at 4 p.m. At 6 p.m. you're recalling that, and you're also recalling the presence of the fake sun at the same property at 7:30 in the morning, okay? That's what you're recalling, and then while you're looking at who's in relevant position, which is U.S. United States Postal Service, all right? While they are monitoring, that's in a deliberate environment, an impossible and unnatural environment, and that is a threat waged by the state while they are monitoring together, including the United States Postal Service with the group stalkers that are pacing around via the C Street turn circle, okay? So with regard, what I wanted to point out is the state's directed light, which is remaining inside of the venue, and the United States Postal Service, that vehicle is number 1261519, okay? Pacing, doing the exact same thing under the exact same fake sun, okay? P.O.C. It is 4:04 p.m. What I wanted to show is that United States Postal Service engaging in terrorism in that regard, but also I want to speak to what's directed light as they cross path, and that's impossible light activity that's supposedly shooting like a laser while they're crossing path. That's demonic activity. That's the mark of demon possession. That is the government. Understand that's a state actor, United States Post Officer, okay? They are state actors engaging in terrorism. In the same way that I documented Department of Homeland Security in relevant position at Andy's Burgers under the fake sun and directed light, that's the state engaging in terrorism. The Ontario Police Department is the state engaging in terrorism, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to make sure I document that. It's 4:04 p.m. With regard to the state's presence of its directed light, and you're looking at the impossibility of that which I documented as I enter. Remember, I'm capturing yet again today on September 19th. The state is keeping its fake sun over 706 West Holt Boulevard, whereas the state has demonstrated it. It already did it. Because it keeps its directed light on that staircase, on that elevator, that little airspace right there, where the demons are patrolling all around that. Understand that's that ritualistic demonic activity that they're engaging in, while the state keeps its directed light in the center right there. They're walking all around that. They're stalking with activity. That is the mark of demon possession. That's terrorism, because the state's directed light is everywhere that you're at. And as you realize, that's not sunlight. It is something that is terrifying as the state invades, literally molests, and follows with light in that regard. That's terrorism, okay? So license 7JQJ110. And so with regard, I arrive here at the latter part at around 2 p.m. and the state's directed light is present. So you're remembering, it's not starting from right now at 2 p.m. when I'm arriving just today. There was a whole big picture that has already been established. So the state is suggesting that while its fake sun is physically present over my head at Holt Boulevard at 706 West Holt, concentrated light where there is no sun, and you're not over the building of the library. In other words, I'm not even going to speak on the fact that that's light that's not going to come from that ceiling window at all. It's literally just light that's on the floor, on the wall. It's like literally there, and it's not coming from that space at all. And it's also not where it's inside of the depths of the staircase. The state is aiming light, concentrated light, all around there, and demons are patrolling around that, okay? It's a demonic environment. But aside from that, the state's fake sun is physically present over my head today, while I'm inside of the venue. As I show you, I'm looking at San Antonio and Holt. The state's fake sun is not over 215 East C Street, while it's directly over my head at San Antonio and Holt Boulevard. The sun is not covering the entirety of the sky like that. That is not concentrated light that's going to be a result from this, the sun. As you see it, when I am in the library, and it remains, the state keeps directed light at that area, moving it all around all day long. And I want to be clear, I'm at Starbucks, where the state's fake sun is clearly not over that building, not next to that building. It's directly over me while I'm in the parking lot. It's directly over me while I'm at Hope Boulevard. It's directly over me while I'm inside of Starbucks. And I'm showing you the fake sun directly over my head from the inside of the venue. I just want to point that out. That's the significance of the directed light. As you're seeing it, the state is stalking with light inside of the venues. In the same way that I showed you as I exited at 6 p.m. That's directed light that's covering the demons that work at this venue, while they are congregated around the bathroom, listening with knowledge in real time to what you're doing inside of that private space. This is revealing the sex offender that is the people of the state. That is the sex offenders, the Ontario Police Department, that were in relevant position under the fake sun at 6 p.m., okay? And the state is also suggesting, as I exit at 4, the same thing as I exit at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the same thing as I arrive at 7:30 in the morning, that the state's fake sun, because that's not the sun, is remaining over this address for the duration of an entire day. Literally a concession that that's not the sun, okay? So I'm just providing you all the analysis, everything that is implicated with the totality, the big picture of the documentation of stalking with light, which is demonic conduct, all right? Where an entity is engaging in what is demonic conduct, that's terrorism. You are seeking to terrorize while you're engaging in federal stalking of an American citizen. And what I spoke to in the video, I'm going to address it now on my podcast. The state engaging in that desperate act of criminal summoning today, and you're literally looking at what is a group stalker that knocks on the door while they're monitoring together. And this is the one who was cussing me out on video. And then after I have already told her that the first guy did that, he knocks on the door. He tries to open the door, entering in the code, okay? In order to enter the code, you have to see the sign that says occupied, okay? And I showed you that in video as well. I laid all that out for you. So they're monitoring. And then they're they're monitoring one who is documenting which they know. So they're engaging in harassment, and then through their harassment, they are creating that which doesn't exist, but nonetheless, they are creating a narrative for summoning the police. That's called criminal summoning. They don't even, first of all, you're engaging in federal stalking. There is no such thing as any legal authority to call the police. The targeted individual shall document, and you shall prosecute, period, okay? The criminal is the state. Documentation is necessary. But second of all, in their alternate universe, I literally captured on video what is the harassing speech while this Caucasian male, and he's the second one that does the same thing. He's cussing me out. I'm all kind of bitches, all right? Because he has to piss so bad while he's trying to break in the bathroom with me and says, "Are you filming me?" Which he already knows. It's all audible activity. And you see the directed light blaring behind his head, flashing light in the depths of the bathroom hallway. All right. This is the pattern of conduct. But then you see what Jasmine, that's Starbucks, they hop on this, understand that's an act of desperation by third parties who are terrified, okay, of the documentation that I continue to upload and publish on the internet. But you are understanding, nonetheless, the pattern of conduct. Criminal summoning, that's a very threatening criminal act by the entity that is engaging in federal stalking. It's a direct threat to your liberty. Summoning the police who are already stalking and monitoring to that audible activity while you're being harassed by that violent speech, and group stalkers, the demon-possessed, who know when your panties are down and when your panties are up, okay? This is everything that they know. So this is literally what I captured on video. This is what you're witnessing. And what I was speaking to in the video as I'm capturing the state's fake sun, which is east of that location, after it remained for a duration of the morning while I'm at that location west of the library, okay? And I'm capturing also what I captured in video. Remember, the state's fake sun over that same corner after, like I showed you in video, I'm at the library. Then I go to T-Mobile after I capture the demon-possessed Ontario Fire Department, right? And the the state's fake sun is over that corner where T-Mobile is at 101 North Euclid, where I was coming from the library. You're seeing the state's fake sun at later in the afternoon at around 1:54, I believe, 1:54 p.m. And the state's fake sun is in that same position, at that same corner, at that same address, where I'm coming from a different direction. That is Starbucks at 706 West Holt, all right? This is ongoing. This is just ongoing tallying up of documentation and being subject to what is criminal summoning. This is the pattern of conduct by the entity. This is also, as I also laid out, that's a pattern by Starbucks. All right. They literally, it's a Hail Mary for them. They don't have anything else to do. Oh, let's just call the police. That's literally what they're doing. All right. But I documented what they literally engaged in. You're looking at a criminal. That goes without saying. You're looking at a third party group stalker you're looking at the pattern of conduct. And then you're looking at what they're trying to do while the pattern of conduct is underway. They're engaging in harassment. The one who was engaging in federal stalking and harassment goes and tells Jasmine of Starbucks, they're working together to try to get me off the property because I'm documenting them, which, by the way, is not illegal. Okay, so she is referencing the third party who is trying to break in the bathroom and is cussing me out as the one who is complaining about being recorded. You hear what he says? Are you recording me? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go tell you. That's exactly what you're looking at on camera. Okay, every single last one of them know that they're being documented. Every single last one of them are monitoring. Every single last one of them are in directed light, which you see in the background while this group stalker is using as audible activity, harassing and threatening speech. All right. So the arrival of the Ontario Police Department, understand that that's a threat with the intent to terrorize by virtue of the identity of the Ontario Police Department. In addition, the terrorism that's underway, because these are the demon possessed that are monitoring together. And that was demonic hostility by the entity itself. You saw the African American male with the Idaho plates. He found that demon came back. Okay, this is them communicating hostility. All right, so he's back. He's in the parking lot. Understand this is the demonic aspect of it. These are demons that are thriving off the fact that the police are here. That they're no authority figure. I'm documenting them as well. They're going to federal prison. All right, they are engaging in federal stalking together, and that's what you are witnessing as I'm documenting the totality of that entity and the ways in which they engage in that system. This is what I am speaking to as I advocate necessary policy and understanding the malice with which it's demonic conduct and all of those demonic tactics that are underway. The exercise of fictitious authority by law enforcement who are engaging in violation of the law. All right. The criminal facilitation by third parties who are monitoring with that state, summoning one that does not have a legal authority as they are operating corporately outside of the bounds of the law. All right. But this is what they rely on. And not only that, second by second, I'm showing you the pattern of conduct while they're engaging in all this directed light. The state's fake son, ongoing audible activity is underway. I mean, it does not get any more thorough than that, okay? But in addition to that, as I come back, meaning as I walk east of that address, after the state's fake son remains over that venue, and after I documented again yesterday, another day where the state kept its fake son over the same address, but yet earlier in the day, it is nowhere over 215 East C Street. That is the library where I am now, where the state's fake son is now after 4 p.m. And then, I mean, also remaining over my head as I travel from Starbucks to this venue. But you're looking at what is that ongoing blatant stalking with a light source. How are you setting, first of all, you're setting your fake son over the same strip of a street, all right, after you're here from 7:30 in the morning, all right, which is as early as I've documented it, and then you're setting here, but yet in the morning time, you're nowhere over 215 East C Street. You are over 706 West Holt. And there is no mutuality with that. You are not both over the entrance of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. The state is acting like the sun is the sky, which is perpetually present. No, the sun is a star, and the sun is not covering the entirety of the sky, and the sun is not remaining over everyone's head at that central location everywhere that they're going. So as Jasmine remains at Starbucks, in other words, as she's walking in and out of the parking lot, the state is not remaining over its head. The actual sun is not over her head, and the state's fake sun is not moving in real time over her head as she is moving about. It's not remaining over the venue of Starbucks. It's right here at 215 East C Street. All right, and I have documented that thoroughly. I showed that yet again. I just want to break it down in English and specify with clarity the significance of what I'm documenting, of what I've captured, and the significance of that prosecution for engaging in those criminal tactics that are criminal summoning. Okay? And so, like I said I would yesterday, I did publish those images speaking to what is sexual violence, federal stalking by entity in the bathroom. And it is the same thing as the employee opens the door today just to jingle and make noise. Understand that's the same thing as a group stalker entering inside of the bathroom to flush the toilet, turn on the water, and turn on the air dryer. It's audible activity in relevant position. You are stalking in the path, and you're creating activity in that private area where private activity is underway, which you are also aware of. These are demon possessed. These are no ordinary stalkers. This is the entity, and this is a demon possessed entity. Okay, the most violent the most violent sex offender that you can fathom. Okay, because the demonic maintain real-time knowledge of what you're doing, and that's the reality. And I'm showing that based on the pattern of conduct, and I'm showing that based on their demonic behavioral pattern, which doesn't stop outside of the walls of a bathroom. That same stalking with noise conduct, that same stalking like that the state does with sirens, stalking with activity, stalking with light, that continues in the bathroom. So you understand that hovering, paranoid level of stalking conduct is underway while they listen to you drop your panties. Okay? Understand the sexual violence. It is that explicit. It is that depraved. It is that despicable and disgusting. That's what the entity and all of them together. Understand, have you ever welcomed a group to sit up and watch you go to the bathroom and pull off your clothes and apply a microphone and everyone listen to it at the same time, knowing what's going on? You probably have not. And you probably would not voluntarily. That's what the state is doing. No hyperbole, okay? That's exactly what they're doing. It is 4:17 p.m., and that is P.O.C. All right, directed light under the same exact shaded walkway. State's fake sun in perfect alignment, and the state is flying over. And that looks like a United Airlines plane. That's P.O.C. It's 4:18 p.m. All right, I just caught video, and you're going to pay attention. This is what I mean by paying attention to the detail. But actually, I mean, you don't even have to have fine attention to detail to see this. This is a clear movement of the state's fake sun in order to be in perfect alignment and aim light right on me, keep its fake sun right on me, on my person, where I sit underneath the side of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. I just captured video as I exited at 4 p.m. as it is in front of me, as I am facing west, okay? At the entrance. That's why I showed you exactly where I'm at. I'm standing under the entrance of the sign that says Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, the state's fake sun, as I'm sitting down, and I just point my camera right where it's at, right in alignment with me. And if the state's fake sun was still at that same position at the entrance, I wouldn't be able to capture it right there, cozy in a position where I can pick up my camera and capture it right there, aiming on me. Okay. In addition, you're going to remember, again, what is the state doing with its directed light at 6 p.m., for example, not only at Starbucks, but at what is right here, what I showed you last night, acting in concert with the sex offenders that are the Ontario Police Department. The state is keeping its fake sun right in alignment with the entrance, and that directed light is reaching inside of the depths of that Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library and also covering this walkway underneath. The state's fake sun is in a distinctly different location than where I capture it as I exit at 6 p.m. It's in a distinctly different location than where I capture it right now, where I exited at 4 p.m. But this is what I'm saying, the common sense that you are applying and seeing what the state is doing, it is literally asininity. And this is demonic stalking with light, because that's what the state is doing. And the state is treating as though the universe is focused on me. The universe is not focused on me. The state is focused. This is a demonic system underway. The state and these demons are focused on me. All right. That is not the sun. And you can look at the difference in the two videos that I'll be publishing. It already exists. I've already published it, but this is just another example. As where I give you example after example. This is existing after I just captured this morning west of this location at San Antonio and Holt. The sun is not going to be right here aiming onto me at that very precise location, such that I can capture it while I'm sitting underneath the side, while I also capture it hours earlier this morning over me inside of the venue of 706 West Holt of Starbucks. Okay. Let alone over my head while I am at Holt Boulevard and I'm capturing the Ontario Police stalking with Starbucks. Criminal summoning is no difference. It's the same stalking activity. All right. While the people that are the demon-possessed stalkers you see on the bike, he's still patrolling around in a bike in directed light. That's the demonic activity. All right. And those are the demons that are focused on you in that environment that's focused on you. All right. It is 4:30 p.m. and that's P.O.C. All right, it is currently 6:12 p.m. and I want to document, the P.O.C. is obvious, but I want to document, specifics with regard to the ongoing terrorism that the entirety of the entity shall be prosecuted for. The state using Union Pacific on the Amtrak train tracks as the guise under which the loud sound of train activity, and not just the train sounding a horn, which you're not going to hear, okay? You're not going to hear that. While where I am is I remain sitting on the side of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. But it's not just the sound of the train blowing a horn. It's the sound that the state is amplifying, the sound of the literal train moving on the tracks, like the wheels on the tracks. That's what the state is amplifying. That's called artificial activity. The state is maintaining noise and doing so in another implausible
and audibly impossible manner, okay? So I want to document that. That is attributed to the entity they're monitoring with the state and providing the guise, albeit it is clearly identified as that which is impossible, so you can readily identify that as and recognize that as that's the pattern of conduct, that's the state, that's the demonic activity, this whole impossibility, this whole unnatural environment, that's the demonic, okay? And also, I want to document what I showed you upon my exit at 4 p.m. and then I show you the state's movement of its light source right cozy at a precise angle to such that I can even, while I'm sitting underneath the shaded walkway, after capturing it right in front of me at 4 p.m. and the state has moved it out, and that movement is out of alignment with where it is clearly captured as I exit at 6 p.m. All right, and it's impossible in so many ways, like I've already shown. Not only is the state above the same exact side of the library and early in the morning, and you're talking about remaining over the same venue for the duration of the day, both at entrance and exit, and then following me with this light source to and from the exit, and then you have what is the state's deviation from keeping in that alignment. So it's moved from what is outside of, away from the entrance of the door, away from alignment with the side of the, with the C Street alignment as I stand underneath the walkway on the side of the library. I'm sitting underneath. And in order for me to capture what is that, the state's light source, which you clearly see in the video, it is outside of alignment with that hallway, underneath this hallway. It is outside of it in order to aim the light source. It's like that light source itself wants to see me, okay? And so you have what is the placement of that light source outside of alignment, yet you have the state engaging in that same light activity. So this is a documentation that is providing an analytical scope to everything that the state does with light. This is not just me documenting, this is me literally teaching the ways, the methods of a public entity and also about demonic activity, all right, and what the state is doing. And I just want to be clear, at 6:15 p.m. and I have already captured at this time what the state does with this light. I showed you last night. The state was reaching into the depths of the library, and then it reached outside underneath the walkway. I've shown you where the state is aiming light under the same exact walkway at 7 in the morning, and then I'll point out, you see that directed light? Okay, after 6 p.m. in the evening, the state is aiming light under that same walkway. Okay, I've already shown you this. I've shown you in video and pictures the state's light source in direct alignment as I stand underneath the walkway. The state, you could see the state's light source through what is like the top portion of this walkway. All right, this is all of that is what you're looking at in totality, is the absolute impossibility and literally just moving all over the place in order to be where I am. And that coexists with everything that I document, that I continue to document, but that, remember, what I have already documented, what I've already published. All right, so I'm not continuing to try to establish that it's impossible. I have already established. And again, what was my place from the beginning? I do not have to, nor does any target individual does, nor does any rational human being with any rudimentary understanding of science, by the way, 5th grade science, needs to establish that that's not the sun, okay? That's not what I am trying to prove, and I don't have to prove that. That's not a mystery now, and it's not a mystery at prosecution, okay? The actual sun, which is a star, which is not physically, visibly over any of these addresses where I am at, the state is stalking with a light source, okay? I am showing the ways in which the state is stalking with a light source, because that's what that fake sun is. It is a light source that the state is literally dragging around in the sky, while I am the center of what are demons who are engaging in a targeting system in the state of California. All right, and this is demonstrating the ongoing implausibility, the impossibility, the demonic conduct, in other words, that the state is practicing while it is stalking with light. Stalking with light is demonic in all the ways in which I have shown you how the state is doing that. And the clear numerosity of all the venues. Okay, yet again, I'm walking down the street and I'm standing inside of Starbucks while I am standing outside of Starbucks, while I am walking to and from some venue at different times. Pay attention this morning as I am walking on Hope Boulevard, and I'm showing you what is, first of all, the demons that are making that concession, and that's exactly what that's documented as. You're prosecuting a public entity for federal stalking for criminal conduct. That conduct that I documented is a concession. That's an admission, and that's exactly how that's going to be treated under the law. All right, that was an admission by the entity, not just those group stalkers whose license plate I documented on video. They are acting as one entity. That's an admission. Those are concessions. by an entity that's engaging in terrorism, okay? While I am capturing that light that's moving across the street on the concrete, on the sidewalk, and up the building, all right? And molesting my person at the same time, all right? Where am I? When I'm walking on Hope Boulevard. I'm walking on west on Hope Boulevard, on one side of the street. And where I'm standing at the Cash Express located at 100 Euclid Avenue, pay attention. At this time in the morning, it's 8:45 in the morning, at what I believe is 1:46 p.m., all right? 1:46 p.m., I'm on the opposite side of the same street, and you're looking at the state's fake sun on that same street on the opposite side, okay? Pay attention to that. Look at the video at 8:46 a.m. Look at that directed light as group stalkers are crossing paths. Those are demons. The state's fake sun is right over that building where I'm at 1:46 p.m. after I'm coming from Starbucks. All right, and that whole venture of stalking with light coming from back and forth, that's a whole other issue. But I just want you to pay attention to how the state's fake sun is on the same street, on different sides of the same street at different times of the day. In the morning at 8:45, in the afternoon as I leave at 1:46 p.m. It's directly over me as I stand at 101 North Euclid Avenue outside of the T-Mobile. It's on the same street, on the opposite side of the street, over my head. Okay? Pay attention to that. And so that's the totality of what I'm showing. It's 6:19 p.m. and again, the state is already has been captured, documented, covering this walkway, underneath the walkway, and like I showed with the Route 66, which was an act of terrorism by the people. And you're seeing how public corruption exists in plain sight, and those demons are walking all around or in directed light. Those are demons who are pacing, because the entity is maintaining presence in that demonic environment. They're acting as one. That demonic possession, they are acting with one mind. It's coordinated activity, all right, amongst the many faces, all right? And to the untrained eye, ignorant of demon possession, okay, that was me too. I understand that, all right? You're assuming that people are, and they are distinct physically. They're not attached to each other physically. Understand that they are attached by demon possession. And in that regard, they are of one mind. This is demonic, what's ongoing, all right? The environment is demonic. Their conduct is demonic. They are pacing, and they are of one mind, literally. This demon possession, it's coordinated ongoing activity. And so it's 6:21 p.m., and that is P.O.C.
Flying in a straight line over the museum. And just like you saw today on video, Delta Airlines, that is already visibly over the airspace where I'm standing at Hope Boulevard. And there's no sound of any plane. The moment I say the name Delta, the state presses play on its tape. Then suddenly you hear the plane that you're looking at, and you hear no plane activity. And as soon as I say, oh, there's Delta, monitoring with the Ontario police, then all of a sudden you hear plane activity. The state is engaging in the creation of audible activity while it is stalking, that is pacing in airplanes in the airspace above me, monitoring in concert with the people of the state, and doing so in concert with the Ontario Police Department right now as well. Let me point that out as well. But like I said, the state is flying in a straight line, and pay attention to the videos that I just published as I'm walking from one venue to the next, and the state is stalking in airplanes. As I'm walking to Starbucks this morning, the state is stalking in airplanes, flying in relevant position, making their U-turns in alignment with where I am standing on Hope Boulevard while the fake sun is over my head on Hope Boulevard. Okay? This is the ongoing correlation of that entire system, and you're seeing how the state is stalking. And you're talking about demons that are pacing around me 24 hours a day, because that's what they're doing. They're demons that are maintaining presence in airplanes, demons that are maintaining presence in vehicles, demons that are maintaining presence inside of any building, be it their private residence or a business establishment, in public and anywhere else where you are in relevant position, which being in your home with the fake sun over your venue and the state flying over me in an airplane and helicopter and stalking my police, that's a facilitating venue, and you'll be prosecuted in relevant position as you're documented, period. That's the operation of the system, and that's breaking that system down. It has zero form, and there is absolutely no shelter where the government is engaging in monitoring. That is how the government is monitoring you systematically. So you will not have any shelter whatsoever, clinging to what are the forms of the system, the false premises upon which, in other words, that this system relies. Okay? It is 8:11 p.m., and that is P.O.C.
Union Pacific patrolling, monitoring on the internet. It's 9:48 p.m. 9:45 p.m. begins rolling as I'm uploading videos to the G drive. Then the state amplifies the sound of traffic, equal in volume with Union Pacific train. Then the state flies over in an airplane, and this is Union Pacific as the guise of ongoing activity again at 9:48 p.m. And again, remember the state is just playing a tape of the sound of a train, adjusting the volume in real time as I turn on my podcast because it's louder than that. Then the volume turns down. Then it sounds as though the train is fading away in volume. The state is in real time adjusting the audible activity. All right? But nonetheless, this is stalking with activity. Union Pacific is engaging in federal stalking with the state. P.O.C. (9:51 p.m.) All right, that's artificial activity. The state is playing a tape of the sound of a train, vacillating in volume, and that is 9:45, 9:48, 9:51 Union Pacific trains as audible activity monitoring on the internet. P.O.C. Already showed you the directed light, and the people are stalking directly and vicariously. That's federal stalking by Union Pacific. P.O.C.